Hello everyone, I am DV, and as always, I would like to thank each and every one of you for tuning in for another all-new episode right here on Me and Mine TV. Now, being a track junkie, a lot of people have been asking and requesting me to make a video talking about track days, give me some how-to, some pieces of advice, and addressing a couple of misconceptions that a lot of people may have as it pertains to track days. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to try to make this video as short as possible while being the most informative as I can be. Because in the past year and change that I've been tracking, I have done 6 total track days in my 2014 LTRS Camaro, 5 road courses, and 1 small oval. And the best piece of advice I can give anybody who wants to be fast on a racetrack is the advice that my very first instructor gave me at my very first track day. And I remember this clear as day. After our driver meeting, I met up with my man. We exchanged like, hey, how you doing? My name is this, what kind of car we driving, so on and so forth. But as it pertained to the track, he's like, son, why'd you come for this track day? I'm like, well, sir, because I want to be fast on a racetrack. And then he said this, and I quote, if you want to be fast on a racetrack, quickly unlearn that BS they preach you in the car world. Because the car world is a street racing and drag racing world. And what makes you fast on a drag strip has absolutely nothing to do with what makes you fast in the corners. Because corners, son, is where races are won. Because, ladies and gentlemen, the difference between the car world and the race world is like the difference between planet Earth and the planet Jupiter. It's 2 different lifestyles, 2 different mentalities, 2 different thought processes, which leads me into one of the biggest misconceptions that people have as it pertains to track days. Now, one of the biggest misconceptions that people have as it pertains to track days is that a track day is a race. You're at a road course like Road Atlanta, Roadling, or Barber. You're out there to be faster than everybody else. You're out there to be better and quicker and prove you're the better driver and have the better car than everybody else. And ladies and gentlemen, let me be the first one to tell you that could not be more farther from the truth. Matter of fact, when you have your driver meets before anybody ever hits the track, the event host specifically say, there is no racing. This is not a race, and we better not see any aggressive driving. Because everyone like me who has been to a track day before will tell you they've seen those guys and gals from what I've seen who think they're Billy Badass, and they want to prove they're the best, and they're the fastest, and they have the better car than everybody else. So they go out there and try to race everybody and break the track record. And those are always the very first people you see getting reprimanded and getting disqualified. So for everybody out there who wonders what the purpose of a track day is, the main focal purpose of going to a track day is to improve your driving skill and become a better driver, which leads me into the #1 biggest misconception about track days. Now, without a doubt, the biggest misconception about track days is that in order to be faster than everybody else, you need a big one of these, something pumping out a lot of horsepower in order to be faster than everybody else. But be faster than who? It's not a race. You need something putting a lot of rear-wheel horsepower to the ground in order to be quicker than everybody else. Be quicker than who? It's not a race. You need something that's light and nimble and better handling in order to out-handle everybody else. Out-handle who? It's not a race. Because in the car world revolves around and is dictated by this thing right here. It's all about V8s and V10s and real powerful V6s. It's all about how much horsepower your engine can produce and how much of that you can put to the ground. But what people in the car world do not realize as it pertains to tracking is that a car's performance is not the #1 thing. Because when I bought this car, I turned down the chance to buy a 2014 1LE black Camaro. And in fact, a few months ago, I made a video entitled Why I Did Not Buy a V8 Camaro, in which I made this statement right here. Really, when I was sitting there thinking to myself, the performance really was not what I was looking for. The performance was never anything on the list that I needed when I was looking for a car. Now, the car world laughed at that. They said, that's crazy, that's stupid, it's half-ass backwards. Why would you be a track junkie and primarily use your car for the track? but not care about its performance? Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a deep breath and take a step back here. Remember a couple of minutes ago when I said the primary focus of a track day is to become a better driver and improve your driving skills? Because in the car world, the most important thing is this thing right here. But in the race world, the most important thing is the person that sits in the driver's seat. Because people are like, well, why would you turn down a higher performing Camaro for a lesser performing Camaro? That makes no sense. Does it really? Well, let's see here. You can ask any driver worth his or her weight in gold. You can go to any racing school or ask any professional or amateur drivers and say, sir, ma'am, I got a question for you. Is it better to learn how to drive on a track in a higher performing car or a less performing car? Every single one of them will say to a T, it's always better to learn on a lesser performing car. And they prefer cars like a Mazda Miata or an S2000. Some of you may be like, well, why? It's because the performance capabilities of those cars will not overwhelm your underdeveloped driving skills. Because according to the car world, since I chose a V6 Camaro over a V8 Camaro, that's like saying, you know what, if I was going to Formula One racing school and I wanted to learn how to drive Formula One cars, it's better for me to learn on an actual $1 million Ferrari freaking Formula One car because it's quicker, it has better handling, and it's an overall better car. Now take a couple steps back and think about just how dumb that sounds. Because the moment they stick me in that car, if I could actually get the damn thing moving, I am going to crash or wreck or go off the road. Why? Because I do not know how to handle the performance capabilities of that car. And the best way I can illustrate that is by showing you guys this. Now here I am on one of my favorite roads to act a fool on. It's a good fun road with a lot of twisties and a couple of straightaways, but it's an overall good road to have some fun on. But where I'm at right now is the straightaway. This is where the car world makes its hay. This is where you can unleash that power that you have underneath your hood in quick, simple, and easy fashion. But wait a minute, what's that up there? I think that is what the common folk call a corner. Now, how do I go through this corner in the proper drive line to make sure that I can carry as much speed as I gain on the straightaway into the corner, through the corner, and on the exit portion of the corner? How do I know how much steering input I need to input to keep myself in the proper drive line without making my car understeer or oversteer or potentially lose control? How do I know when to downshift, what gear I need to be in, what RPM I need to be at, so when it comes to the exit portion, I can hit the gas, drop the hammer, and slingshot myself out of this corner? How do I know when to brake, how hard to brake, and for how long? How do I know how to do that? Because according to the car world, the only thing that you need in order to be fast in the corners is a big motor. So everything that I just described, that every single racer knows that you have to master and precisely do in order to make sure you're quick in the corners, is irrelevant, because according to the car world, the only thing you need is a big motor. Because the one thing the car world is unwilling to realize, the one thing the car world refuses to understand, is that what makes you fast on a racetrack, power is worthless without control. Because every single racer who's been racing since racing was invented knows that a car's performance will always be secondary. Because the most important thing that equates to a person being fast on a racetrack is the person that sits behind the steering wheel in the driver's seat. Because if you do not know how to properly and precisely input your thoughts and your actions into that steering wheel, through those gear shifts and through those pedals, you are going to be slow on a racetrack, regardless of how much horsepower you're pumping out on the rear wheels. Because anybody who is a track junkie like myself, or who has been to a track day before, will see cars like Mazda Miatas and S2000s beating the dog crap out of people with Corvettes and V8 Camaros and GT3 Porsches. Now, is that to say that a Mazda Miata is a better performing car than those cars? Hell to the no. The only thing that stays is the person behind the steering wheel in that driver's seat knows better and knows how to perform better when it comes to driving their car properly and precisely at a track day. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I hope this brief video helped educate a lot of you out there. I know there's going to be a lot of people who are going to sit there and say, oh, you're crazy, you're stupid, you don't know what you're talking about. But the people who say that are the people that A, do not know how to drive, and B, are not a part of the car world. I hope everybody enjoyed this video. Don't forget to leave your thoughts, your concerns in the comment section below. Hope everybody had a great day. Everybody stay tuned for the next upload.